Skip Weber and Weber Chevrolet.
It's going to be a big year. We're resetting things. We got new incentives out there. Pricing is probably about the same as what it's been. But as we start things on the new year, we are a little bit down on our inventory because of the good December. And when they stop producing the last week of the month and the first week of this month, it's a little bit off kilter from the normal month after month production of cars. So we're a little bit down on our inventory, but our prices haven't changed at all because of it. You can always buy stuff and put your name on it coming in, but we have a lot of pre-owned vehicles. Trade-ins do that for us. Just check our website. I think you'll really, really like what you see because our prices are the best. And if you look at the reviews, we are by far the best reviewed Chevy dealer in a large radius. And that's based on reputation.com and dealerrater.com. So I just know we're the best place to buy.
Granite City, Columbia, Illinois, Element 270 and online at WeberChevrolet.com. The Weber Automotive Group.
Al Roker joins us now live.
As we just heard, 160 folks from Midland, Texas to Washington, D.C. under some sort of cold weather advisory. 160 folks.
A few rare items from the Wizard of Oz film are going up for auction. The family of actor Ray Bolger. If I Only Had a Brain.
Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you.
It's already popping out there.
It is. Good morning.
That's amazing.
This makes this market the oldest continuous farmers market west of the Mississippi River.
That's amazing.
There's just a giant variety of things here.
That's amazing.
100% of our vendors here on Saturday.
It's amazing.
It's the biggest investment that the city has made in Tular's farmers market in decades.
That's amazing. God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Cusimano. Within the last few hours, the Cardinals have announced their 2025 Hall of Fame class. Big congrats to the recently passed general manager, Walt Giacchetti, and Fireball former pitcher / broadcaster, Al Rabaski.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Brent Solomon. Crews are working steadily at this hour, bringing up pieces of American Airlines Flight 5342 from the Potomac River. That plane and an Army Black Hawk helicopter from the Potomac River. I'm Brent Solomon.
All righty, good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Tracy Henson. This is one of those tornadoes. Once again, no one was injured or hurt.
All right, time now to answer our Wednesday fun fact. Here it is. Which famous song by Doris Day was featured in the 1956 thriller, The Man Who Knew Too Much? Well, the answer is Q, Sarah Sarah. Whatever will be, will be.
I'm Brent Solomon.
We are just weeks away from the next total solar eclipse.
Officials over in Terre Haute, Indiana, the average visitor spends about $183,000. Or $183, I should say. For more information on next month's total solar eclipse. I'm Brent Solomon.
Travis Cummings 5 on your side. The Blues sent Vladimir Tarasenko to the New York Giants. Travis Cummings 5 on your side.
All right, Travis, thanks.
Sask Energy is announcing a proposal to jack up the cost of heating your home by 27 to 30%.
Continuing to follow the latest developments in the crash of Delta Flight 5191, 49 people killed. Here's a Black Hawk helicopter surveying.
As for your 2002 World Series champ Anaheim Angels, well, there's no doubt they're headed to Disneyland. After all, they are owned by Disney. But the fun has just begun because tonight they're staying up for late night. And they will be on David Letterman right here on News Channel 5. So you want to watch that and see how Jay Leno.
I was just waiting. I wasn't sure where we were going with that. Okay.
Jay Leno on Channel 5.
Of course, on the Tonight Show. Great, thanks. We'll be right back in a minute.
It's 5 p.m. and you're watching Channel 5 KSDK St. Louis, where the news comes first. With Kay Quinn, Jeff Fowler, John Fuller, and Malcolm Briggs. This is News Channel 5.
St. Louis shivered through its coldest night in 5 years, and there's no relief in sight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Fowler.
And I'm Kay Quinn. I'm Gene Jackson. Kay Quinn has the day off.
Our top story this Saturday, the bitter cold that has enveloped the St. Louis area.
J-Lo's new song, Jenny from the Block, all about Lopez roots.
about how she's still a neighborhood gal at heart. But folks from that street in New York, the Bronx section, sound more likely to give her a curb job than a blow job or a block party. The New York Post, sorry about that slip up there. I have no idea how that happened.
The deputy police chief says 6 officers were killed, including the district's top cop after the vehicle they were riding in was sprayed with bullets. And those are your latest headlines. I'm Jane Skinner. Time now to send you back to Shepard, who is live where? Just outside of Memphis. Do you know how hard it is to read when everyone else in the studio is shaking with laughter at your misfortune?
I know. I've been there, Jane. It's been worse for me many billions of times.
Wow. Redbirds jack off to their best start in 20 years.
Our boys and girls are waiting in the aisles of our theater right now, ready to entertain you. So, on with the show.
It is the Sunday Showgram. I'm JC. It is the 8th of March, 2026. How you doing? We're here for the next 2 hours telling old stories. By the way, that compilation there is, people say to me, where did you download that? It's like, I didn't download it. I made it. That represents hours and hours of sitting in front of the television with originally a VCR and now, of course, a DVR. And you just got to sit there and you got to do the work. And then you got to dub it from the DVR over to an audio program. Then you got to edit it. Then you got to put effects in. And then you have to finish the product and then put it on the air. Where did you download it? No. Sometimes people actually make things. Not everything is downloadable. And the other thing about that is you can almost make anybody sound ridiculous, but when people are making such ridiculous mistakes, and again, you know, when I worked in television, I was just the entertainment guy, so I'm off to the side, but I'm watching everything and I'm hearing everything, and I had to adhere to the same standards that the Channel 5, Channel 4, and Channel 2 newsrooms, I worked at all three of them, you had to adhere to those guidelines, and they're really sticklers about it, or at least they were. I just don't think they have any personnel anymore. I think people think that I play these news flubs, and that's how I have them in the computer. I have them listed as news flubs. And I think people think I'm playing it to make the anchor people sound even worse than the mistake already sounds. Look, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. This is egregious stuff. This is easily fixed by just asking somebody, hey, I'm new in town. My name is Annie Kroll, and I don't know this name. Can somebody tell me how it's pronounced? Because to me, it looks like Giacchetti. So that's what she goes with. All she had to do is ask somebody, how do you pronounce this? If I had done that when I worked in television newsrooms, well, the first thing that would happen is everybody would think you were stupid, that you didn't know how to pronounce that. The second thing is somebody would say, why didn't you ask? So you have those kinds of mistakes. Then you have the really, really embarrassing ones. That was Jane Skinner, by the way, in that engagement, shall we say, with Shepard Smith. Jane Skinner is the gal who worked at Channel 4 with us. And then we heard she had some boyfriend in New York who worked for the NFL. And the next thing you know, she quit Channel 4 and she moved to New York to be with her boyfriend. And then we saw her on Fox News. And you heard the little news clip there. She had an inauspicious beginning over there. But, the next thing we heard, she got married, and guess who the boyfriend was? Roger Goodell, the $44 million man. He makes $44 million a year running the NFL, and he married Jane Skinner. They've already had a couple of kids, and they're living happily ever after. She was cute. And on this next thing, I'm going to play for you, and you've heard this before if you've been listening to the show for years. You know, you watch when Rachel Ray was doing 30-minute meals. I don't even know what channel it was on. Everybody was watching that. I guess that was, late 90s? And so I'm watching going, she's got to know what she's saying here. These are not just innocent little references. She's got to know what she's saying. And I did not edit this at all other than editing all of these clips together. I did not alter the meaning or anything that she said. She said all of these things. I just strung them together and put music.
I'm Rachel Ray. Let's go grab some of that meat. Let's just try and ease him out of there. Awesome. Look at that. It's the size of my head. You could barely fit your fingers around it. Size matters. Oh, yeah. I'm ready to belly up to this one. Ooh, he's good. He's good to go. Just pick it up with your hand. Just grab him, rub it in your hand, and just gently pull backwards like that. You want to hold it at the top just like that, and just pull very gently. You just give it a light squeeze. Give it a toss with my fingertips. Give it a little twist just to help it along a bit. Get the juices flowing in there. Grab it nice and firm. Just yank it. There you go. Trust me, it's an inanimate object. It's not going to go anywhere. Get a good handle on it. Give it a good whack. I'm going to moisten that. Drizzle with a little oil. Just coat it off. Get right down to the bottom. Okay, I've got that greased up pretty well there. Greased up and ready to go. Just keep working it. And really put your shoulder into it. Keep your fingers curled under on that other hand. Gosh, I really enjoy this. This is such a fun theme, and it's really cool to do this in your backyard. Something you could do for your boss, or for a special occasion, or for entertaining. For a great date night at home, too. Look at the pretty color that becomes. It's gorgeous, huh? I'm just gonna give it a taste. Oh, man, that is fantastic. Nice, even strokes. Here's the big finish. And it gets messy in a minute. Stand back now. I don't want to splatter you. I'm finishing it off. Come on, baby. There you go. And, oh, yeah, all of a sudden, ooh, look at it start to come. Ooh, another one of them facials. Give it a little shimmy shake. Get some of that out. Oh, that one had a lot to give us, huh? Look at that. Yummy. It's very salty and very delicious. It comes out of your pores, so of course I always end up smelling like a salami, but it's so worth it. I just love it. Very proud of that one. That was a good one. Come on, buddy. Oh, well, if he's not coming off of my hand, he's not coming off of my soup, right? Wow. Look at the size of this sausage. Oh, my gosh. Look at the size of that. Remember, when you put the meat in, don't look at it, don't peek at it, don't force it. Just let it happen. It takes a big mouth to get around this. Hey, you don't have to worry about dessert tonight, guys, because guess what? You're it. Sounds huge, but you know what? I think I can handle it. Just pop them off when you get home. Takes 2 seconds. They're so big and beautiful and large, and they're super sweet. Just pick up and down from your shoulder and keep rocking back and forth over it. Look, how good does that look? Looks amazing, doesn't it? Rub it all around, and now we're going to let it hang out nice and tight. Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Wow, they came together fast, huh? And we're gonna wash it down with St. Louis' favorite root beer, maybe with a little cocktail.
Like I said, she has to know what she sounds like when she said. My favorite one is something you can do in your backyard or for your boss. I'm sure. All right, we start the Sunday Showgram every week with something we call the Weekend Pickup, a series of semi-psychotic, ridiculous, pointless stories you'd be better off without hearing. Let's go to press. Buc-ee's is expanding into 8 states by the end of 2027. Arizona, Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Sorry, Missouri, we're left out in the cold again. The Oscars are next weekend. We'll do our Oscar show on Saturday night and again on Sunday morning, getting ready for the big show. Jessie Buckley will win again for Hamnet. And if you still haven't seen that movie, it started streaming on Peacock on Friday, so you can see what the big hubbub is all about. I didn't think the movie was that great. I thought it was fine. She's very, very good in it. I think there's some directing issues and some script issues. There's some stuff right at the end of the movie where the camera is on her so much. You're like, well, this is starting to get weird. There's all this stuff happening, but the camera is just on her. It just seems like a very, very odd directorial choice for me. Anyhow, Hamnet started streaming on Peacock on Friday. Also, The Dinosaurs. This is a 4-part documentary produced by Steven Spielberg and narrated by Morgan Freeman. Pretty hard to lose when you've got Steven Spielberg as the director and Morgan Freeman He's getting old. When he passes away, I don't know who the go-to guy is going to be on narrations of films, because the whole thing started with the Shawshank Redemption. Really wasn't the case in Driving Miss Daisy, but Shawshank, that sort of changed everything. Oh, also the streaming premiere of Nuremberg. Michael Shannon as the Allies' lead prosecutor in making the Nazis answer for the Holocaust. Rami Malek is in it too, and also Russell Crowe. This new Ryan Gosling movie that's coming out in 2 weeks, coming out on the 20th. I don't even remember the name of it, but I have talked to people who have seen the movie, and they're like, this possibly could be Ryan Gosling's best performance ever. He hosted Saturday Night Live last night, and he's a giggler. He's one of those guys who, the funnier the sketch, he has no self-control. If it's funny, we're all laughing. He's up there on stage trying to act, and he's laughing too. And then tonight on HBO, the series premiere of something called Rooster. It's a comedy starring Steve Carell as a best-selling author who inserts himself into his daughter's college after she has a messy breakup with one of the professors. We'll see. Oh, and with regard to the Oscars, Will Arnett, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Robert Downey Jr., Anne Hathaway, Paul Mescal, and Gwyneth Paltrow have all been added to the lineup of Oscar presenters. And as soon as I said that, I was like, is it Paul Mescal or Paul Mescal? I think it's Paul Mescal. You need a gig? Wendy's is hiring a chief tasting officer. Pays $100,000, by the way. Basically, you just taste test Wendy's stuff, and then you post videos about it. You can apply at wendyschieftastingofficer.com. I have no idea what your clock says right now, because some people set the clocks ahead overnight. Do it before you go to bed, and a lot of clocks do it automatically now. All the DVRs do it automatically. You may have been around back in the old days when we did the 60 Minutes question. This was so funny and so stupid, and people used to get so mad because they would insist that they were right. And basically, here it was. This was a real-life situation that I went on the air with because I didn't know what the answer was. And we got a lot of wrong answers. But here was the scenario. All right, so this is back in the DVR day, in the VCR days. The VCR days. None of this digital technology we have right now. Everything's done automatically. But this was, very analog in nature. And I said, here's the deal. I want to record 60 Minutes on Sunday night, but I'm not going to be home. I'm going to be gone for the weekend of the time change. So what time do I set the VCR for? And 60 Minutes comes on at 6 o'clock. So some people said, you set it at 5. And then some people said, no, you set it at 7 because you're setting your clocks ahead. And then some people gave the really dumb answer, no, you just set it for 6. That didn't even make any sense. Like I said, people were screaming at each other, insisting that they were right, just absolutely insisting that they were right. The answer, of course, and there's two, because one applies to the spring and the other one applies to the fall. In some cases, you would set it for 5. In some cases, you would set it for 7. But it was a lot of fun back in the day, and it doesn't matter anymore because, like I said, we got digital technology, and everything takes care of itself. Southwest Airlines experimenting with having cabin cleaners come on their planes between flights to clean only the premium extra legroom seat areas of the aircraft. The rest would remain all gross and slimy. They're only going to clean the plane in the expensive seats. You bastards. United Airlines has updated their policy to give themselves the right to boot passengers who listen to audio without headphones. By the way, the entire internet really, really approves of that. 33-year-old tourist from Canada was arrested after police said he stole a real flamingo from its habitat at the Flamingo Hotel and took the bird back to his room. He claimed he was rescuing it, but he actually abused it. We're hearing that Barbra Streisand is going to show up at the Oscars to do a tribute to Robert Redford, and that Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are going to come on stage together, the stars of When Harry Met Sally, and do a little tribute to Rob Reiner, who, by the way, would have turned 79 this weekend. D.L. Hughley, this is a really interesting story. This was late 90s, and they gave D.L. Hughley a TV show. And one of the reasons the show was getting good reviews is because critics said that it dealt with real issues and it dealt, like on a sober basis, in some cases, confronting issues head on and being very demonstrative about keeping, race relations intact. Something everybody ought to be doing anyhow, but, I guess he was doing it particularly well in his TV show. They put together one of those satellite tours, and the way this would work is the ABC radio network would contact a bunch of affiliates and say, we're making D.L. Hughley available on Wednesday morning between 7 and 9, and pick a 10-minute window, and D.L. Hughley will talk to you. And we did that, dozens and dozens and dozens of times, these satellite interviews. Somebody would be sitting in New York and you'd be interviewing them via satellite. The star gets free publicity for his show, and we look like big shots because we got the star of the show on. So everybody goes away happy. All right, so on the morning of the interview with D.L. Hughley, we get a call from the producer in New York, and they say D.L. Hughley is only going to talk to the black radio stations. So you guys in St. Louis, thanks, but no thanks. I guess you would call that what? Irony or just plain stupidity? D.L. Hughley, 63, Tom Arnold, 67, David Gilmour, Pink Floyd legend, 80 years old this weekend. Laura Prepon from That 70s Show, 46. Jenna Fisher from right here in St. Louis, 52. Peter Skarsgård, 55. Rachel Weisz, 56. Wanda Sykes, 62. Bryan Cranston, loved that guy. Walter White on Breaking Bad, gave us a great interview back in the day. 70 this weekend. Peter Wolf, the J. Giles Band, 80. Birthdays today, Benny Blanco. This is the guy married to Selena Gomez, and he's gross, and he's got dirty feet, and he just looks like, every time I've seen this guy, he looks like he just spent 3 days on a bus, and he gets to slobber all over Selena Gomez. What is the deal? He's 38 today. Gary Newman and his Tubeway Army, 68. Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, 81. Larry Flint got shot on this date 48 years ago, 1978. Walter Cronkite retired after 19 years as anchorman of the CBS Evening News on this date back in 1981. Mike Tyson's first knockout in his first professional fight, some guy by the name of Hector Mercedes, who's probably still trying to remember his own name right now. This was 41 years ago, 1985. And Eric Clapton became the first musician inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times. He was first honored as a member of the Yardbirds in 92, then with Cream in 93, and finally as a solo artist. Hey, Eric, don't hog all the awards. Oh, and one last thing. When I was in St. Louis last week, I was in town for about a week. I watched a lot of local TV, and it is amazing to me that the sports anchors, these are the guys, well, men and women, who cover sports every day in St. Louis. And you got baseball season starting here in a couple of weeks, and you got a manager, and he's been managing for a couple of years now. You would think that everybody would know how to pronounce his name, but they don't. I heard so many people saying Ali Marmol, and it isn't Marmol, it's Marmol, like marble. And some of the big names, some of the big sportscasters mispronouncing Ali Marmol. I wonder if he knows Walt Giacchetti. All right, that's it. That's how we start the Sunday Showgram every week here on 101.9, 94.1, and the News Talk STL app. It's called The Weekend Pickup. 6 years ago this week, we began the last normal week we were going to have in a long time. We'll talk about that next here on the Sunday Showgram. Stick around. Like I said, it was exactly 6 years ago this week that we were on the verge of having the last normal week we were going to have as citizens of planet Earth, because it was basically recognized on March 15th that we had the pandemic and that this thing was real. It wasn't just the flu. It was something else entirely, and that everybody better watch the F out. And for the next 2 years, things were rough. Things were rough for a lot of people. So many businesses. I every day I got to drive past a Sweet Tomatoes, which has been closed since the pandemic. We lost so many people. We lost John Prine, for heaven's sakes. It was a rotten time. Like, I got to bring that up. Like, I got to remind you. Like I said, all different kinds of people adversely affected. Restaurateurs just crushed by the whole thing. And the other group that really had a hard time during the pandemic, musicians. Nothing's open. Where the hell are you supposed to play? Now, various people had various ways of dealing with COVID, including musicians. They were especially hit hard. Nothing was open. You can't play anywhere. But some of the more familiar names in music got their guys together and used the technology that was available to blend everything together and do COVID editions, if you will, of their famous song.
Hey, Captain Carl, did you remember to wash your hands?
That's right, Pee-wee. Captain Carl always remembers to wash his hands. Oh, a sailor travels to many lands, any place he pleases, and he always remembers to wash his hands so he don't get no diseases.
We're also testing disinfectants, readily available. We've tested bleach. We've tested isopropyl alcohol. I can tell you that bleach will kill the virus in 5 minutes, and that's with no manipulation.
So, suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. We're leading the way in so many different ways. Supposing it brought the light inside the body in some other ways. As we continue to develop potential therapies, I see the disinfectant. I see the disinfectant. I think people are going to know. You're going to know. I'm going to know. I think people are going to know. You're going to know. I'm going to know. I think people are going to know. I see the disinfectant. This whole curse, this whole plague. And is there a way we can do something like that? Injection. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet.
Some of these parody songs and things that came out on the internet, I can't remember if I thought they were funny at the time. They seem sort of funny now, but maybe not so much back when it was all happening. But now, in rapid fire succession, here are some of the things we collected. I don't know, maybe people were trying to relieve the tension. Maybe they were just bored. Lord knows we didn't have much else to do, so why not make a parody song? Here's a couple from back in the COVID years.
Eating a bat causes the Chinese flu, but don't knock it if you try it, is my message to you. I eat them flying rodents and I get a lot of flack, but once you go bat, you never go back. You may think I'm some sort of ghoul, but I'm just a man who's a bat-eating fool. I eat that bat all over this town. You can find me sleeping, hanging upside down. I like girl scrugs, but I prefer Lester flat. I like a T-bone steak, but I love me a bat. I never was much of a heavy metal dude, but me and Ozzy Osbourne got the same taste in food. If they sold bat at the Taco Bell, they fly out the window like bats out of hell. Try a little bat, you're in for a treat. That's why we call it the other black meat. In Georgia, they gave me a 10-gallon hat. First man ever ate a 10-gallon bat. When normal folks go hungry, they go to a Dunkin'. When I get hungry, I go spelunking. When I come home, it always makes him smile to see my wife cooking bad buffalo style. She batters it up, if you pardon the pun, with some coleslaw on a sesame bun. With all this trouble, I won't eat a bat, so that should answer how I got so fat. I'm like Trump, the way he gets grouchy when he's corrected by Dr. Fauci.
COVID-19, oh, I swear what this means. A pandemic ruins everything. Shelter in place, don't touch your face, and you won't get COVID-19.
The world has caught a virus, so I've written you a poem. We need your help to cure it, so stay the f*** at home. And if you have got 12 kids or you're living on your own, lock it down and isolate and stay the f*** at home. If you think you're not at risk here, you're living in a dome. It spreads faster than a hooker's leg, so stay the f*** at home. I need the gym, I need the beach, I hear you bitch and moan. You need to grow a brain cell and stay the f*** at home. But I feel fine, I don't feel sick. I'll go out on my own. How thick are you, you selfish prick? Please just stay the f*** at home. From LA through to Berlin, from Wuhan through to Rome, there's people dying every day, so stay the f*** at home. If you need to contact family, use Facebook, Skype, or phone. We've got the f***ing internet, so stay the f*** at home. The only way to slow it down is isolate, not roam. Please help the world get back on track and stay the f*** at home. Stay the f*** at home, stay the f*** at home. Don't you be a f***ing dick, please stay the f*** at home. Stay the f*** at home.
Yeah, changed my mind. I think these things are funny. Let's bring the Beatles in.
Oh yeah, you might have something. I hope you'll understand. Let's not do the dumb thing. Don't wanna shake your hand. Don't wanna shake your hand. Now go and wash those hands. Oh please, say to me, you washed up in the can and stay 6 feet away. You didn't wash your hands. Now go and wash those hands. You better wash your hands. 'Cause when I touch my face, the germs get inside. It's got me wheezing in my lungs. Stay inside. No high fives. No high fives. Yeah, you got that something. So keep your distance, man. And please do the smart thing. You gotta wash your hands. Now go and wash those hands. You gotta wash your hands. Just go and wash those hands.
Ring my friend, I know you call Dr. Fauci. The only man we can trust right now is Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. He's a really brilliant man. He'll help you to understand. You gotta wash your hands, says Dr. Fauci. He studied MERS and he studied SARS, Dr. Fauci. Eternal brains in a fun-sized bar, that's Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. He's the man you must believe, helping you in time of need. We all just might succeed with Dr. Fauci. Keep yourself 6 feet away. Don't hold toilet paper. Dr. Fauci. My friend works for the CDC, Dr. Fauci. Please don't sneeze and spread disease, says Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. He's the man with a plan. Social distancing is grand, but you still gotta wash your hands, says Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, he's so fine. Even has his own marble head. Dr. Fauci. So don't be dumb like some folks you know, says Dr. Fauci. Stay at home, watch that tiger show, says Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
Calling all cars. Calling all cars. Man trying to enter an office building on 4th and Main with no mask. Repeat, no mask.
I walked into my job late last week when my co-workers all began to freak. They started cursing and began to shout and said quite rudely as the boss threw me out,
You need a mask.
I need a COVID mask.
A COVID mask.
It seemed a lot to ask.
To wear a mask.
To do a simple task.
Put on a mask.
I need a COVID mask. Made it mandatory almost every place that we can't be seen unless we hide our face. I can't even leave my humble abode without something covering my mouth and nose.
We need a mask.
We need a COVID mask.
A COVID mask.
It seems a lot to ask.
To wear a mask.
Can't even mow my grass
without a mask.
Without a COVID mask. This mask wearing isn't fun, and the snitching has now begun. My neighbor called the hotline 'cause my dog wasn't wearing one. Walking through the mall, a woman's voice did ring. Seemed she was troubled by just one thing. She pointed to the door, shook her fist and said,
What are you trying to do, you jerk? Make everybody sick?
Forgot his mask.
Forgot my COVID mask.
His COVID mask.
Nobody gets a pass.
That stupid mask.
Can't even pump my gas.
Without a mask.
Without a COVID mask. Honey, I'm home.
What do you want?
I need to come in and get my mask.
Don't let Daddy in the house, Mommy. He's not wearing his mask.
No mask, no entry. Sorry.
But, honey...
Man, oh man, how did we ever get through that? And maybe that's how. Maybe that's exactly how. Right there, all these goofy songs, at least it released a little bit of the pressure. You know, you do what you can just to get by.
Radio? Who needs a radio?
Like what you're hearing? Don't forget JC's Wayback Machine every Saturday night from 6 until 9 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL and the free News Talk STL app.
I was in St. Louis all last week, and one of the things I was in for was a tour of the Window World facilities out in Earth City. I'd heard about this place, and I'd heard about this company, and I think that everybody, unless you are in new construction, you have probably had some sort of experience with windows, leaky windows. I think everybody associates winter with windows because you're getting the cold air in, but it's the same thing in summer. It lets the heat in too. Those rotten windows are costing you money. But over 80,000 customers of Window World in St. Louis will tell you the story of energy efficiency, and it all starts with a free home estimate. And right now, Window World is offering 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. And if you're thinking, gosh, I get so busy during the week, the only time I could call is weekends, and they're probably closed. No. Customer service department answers their phones 7 days a week with an actual human being, not some bot. Window World is managed by a group of born and raised St. Louis residents over 23 years. And Window World is one of only 2 replacement window companies with a good housekeeping seal of approval. And they are so active in the community. They've raised $4 million over the last 20 years for charities like Action for Autism and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Like I said, it all starts with that call, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS, 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 or online at windowworldstlouis.com. The preferred window of your St. Louis Blues, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS. Window World, welcome aboard, boys and girls.
First time I ever went skiing, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that they labeled the trails for difficulties, like black diamonds and greens and blues. And I'm driving through the mountains here in Colorado, and I pull into this convenience store. And I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, hey, what's the best mountain to go skiing at around here? And he looked at me right in the eyes, and he goes, you know what? I like Copper Mountain, but a lot of people don't like to go there because they're afraid of all the blacks. I thought, oh my God, this guy's a racist. He said, but you know what? I don't mind the blacks. I have a lot of fun with them. But they will beat you up. They will beat you up. And they are all over the mountain. They're everywhere. And you know what? Some of them, not very well groomed. He said, but if you want the good white powder, that's where you got to go.
And tonight on 5 Plus, make sure to catch the latest episode of Mike Bush's podcast, And There You Have It. This episode, he speaks with a longtime radio and TV personality, J.C. Corkerkin.
Here on 101.9, 94.1 and the News Talk STL app, this is hour number 2 of the Sunday Showgram, or hour number 1 for you if you forgot to set your clock or clocks ahead last night. See, because right now it's a little bit after 8 o'clock, but if you didn't set your clocks ahead last night, it's reading a little bit after 7. So you might want to take care of that before you miss any of my wonderful talent and my broadcast efforts here on the radio stations.
It was magical. I mean, there's some really loving, caring moments between 4 people.
Ringo, thanks very much for being on with us. How you doing, man?
Thank you, JC. What was that thing you were playing?
Well, that was actually one of those rare recordings, one of those backtrack kind of bootleg recordings that was actually take 2 of Octopus's Garden. I think you guys actually used take 31 or take 32. That was one of those weird little outtakes where you had a little fun with it and just all the talking and everything like that.
Ringo and his all-star band are going on tour again. They'll be coming through St. Louis later on this year.
How do you go about deciding who's going to go on tour with you?
How this started was I wanted to go on tour, but I didn't want to just front it for hours. I wanted to have a lot of friends around me so I could have fun as well playing their songs. People phone in, people say, hey, are you going out this year?
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me, like take the 15th caller? It's like a radio station contest?
Yeah, anyone who phones in is in the band.
15th caller gets in Ringo's band.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
So, or management calls, or I sit around saying, oh, that guy would be great. Let's see if he's free for the summer. And, it's a progress of elimination, really, till we get down to several people who are interested, and then what sort of combination can we have? And then we just say, okay, this is the one.
We actually had a little spirited discussion about it earlier, and it has to do with your appearance on PBS, Shining Time Station. You play the conductor. What's the history of that?
Well, the history of that was in 1984, Britt Allcroft, the producer of the show, was a very small show in England called Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, where I just read the stories. And then, of course, it came to America and turned into that half-hour show, Shining Time Station. And it was just a lot of fun, and, I feel an empathy with children. I just felt this would be a nice thing to do. That's the deal.
I mean, people who know the history of Ringo Starr know that you didn't have the brightest, cheeriest, sunshiniest childhood, so that actually makes a lot of sense, I guess.
Yeah.
On a more somber note, there was news about, I guess it was 10 days, 2 weeks ago, about the health situation pertaining to George Harrison. Now, George's sister lives just about a few miles from where we are right now here in St. Louis. Have you spoken to George, or have you spoken to anybody in his camp? Do we know anything about his health condition?
No, I saw George 2 weeks ago. And the news that came out was very late. And, George is in good spirits, and he's recovering. And that's the end of it.
And so it sounds like maybe the story was a little bit sensationalized.
It always is. They can't help themselves. They go over the top.
All right, let's talk about new music. People want to hear your famous songs. They want to hear Photograph, and they want to hear It Don't Come Easy, and they want to hear all the stuff that you guys are going to be doing at the Fox Theater on the 21st of August here in St. Louis. Are you leaning towards anything new these days, or are you going to be putting out a new album?
No. Right now, I'm just doing the show. We're rehearsing right now. We'll do the tour, and then I'll see what happens next.
People might not necessarily understand that, because it seems like because everybody who goes out on tour pretty much is promoting something new.
I'm promoting a good time in the summer.
As odd as that may seem, yeah.
Right. I mean, in a way, we're promoting ourselves, but what it is, it's the All-Stars and Ringo and the All-Stars, and we're all good musicians, and we're all going out there to do our songs and have fun.
No, don't get me wrong. It's very refreshing. It's just unusual, and you got to say, okay, what's the trick? And there is no trick.
There's no pony.
Yeah. All right. Brian McKenna's here.
Ringo, do you remember the exact moment or the day when you realized you were one of the most popular human beings on the planet?
No.
I mean, it didn't hit you one day?
Oh, let me think now. Oh, yeah, it was Tuesday, 9:46.
When you became aware, the week, the year, when you realized this is just insane.
I think we realized maybe we were making it when we landed at Kennedy Airport.
Like 900,000 people there yelling and screaming and all that kind of business. And when people...
I mean, there was no moment like that. I mean, we were playing clubs, and then we were playing Shea Stadium.
And when people who aren't, standing in front of a microphone, just some guy runs into you at the airport or something like that.
Yeah.
Is there something that, in general, just across the boards, people seem to want to ask you about or tell you about? Or is there any kind of one standard comment that you seem to get more than others?
Well, a lot of musicians, the Ed Sullivan Show changed their life. A lot of people just have a story. I was at this show, I was that show. I know somebody who doesn't really know you.
And the rest is history.
You know what I mean? Everybody has a story.
Okay, so we've got Sheila E., Roger Hodgson of Supertramp, Greg Lake from ELP, Howard Jones, Ian Hunter, Mott the Hoople, and Mark Rivera, by the way, Billy Joel's band, the horn player, musical director.
Yeah, well, Mark vacillates between Billy and me. If Billy's out, Mark's out. And if I'm out, Mark's out.
And if you want to find out if Ringo's going to sing Octopus's Garden,
you got to go to the show.
You buy a damn ticket, you sit on, and you wait like everybody else.
Thanks, Ringo, as we roll on a Sunday morning, March 8th, 2026, here on 101.9, 94.1 on the News Talk STL app. I've been watching that trash TV. I don't watch any reality TV. I don't watch any dramatized versions of anything. And I'm not watching this JFK Jr. thing with his wife before they crashed off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. And JFK Jr. and also his wife, Carolyn Bessette, they were pretty private people. Now, there's video that like Hard Copy and Inside Edition and places like that got, and yeah, it looked like they were arguing. Sometimes it looked like they were arguing quite a bit. Do you know any couples that don't argue? It's just that when you're having an argument outside of the TCBY on a Friday night at 10:30, there's nobody taking your picture and there's nobody shooting video. In the case of JFK Jr., every time he left the house, he was on camera. So I don't put any stock into the idea of, it was some sort of violent, abusive relationship. Relationship actually looked pretty normal to me. And it was such a horrifying thing, such a tragedy that it happened. And it was his fault, it was his fault. They left too late, and it got dark, and he didn't have enough hours in the cockpit where he was working primarily off instruments, and he got disoriented, and he crashed into the water. Everybody was killed. I don't know if that was hubris or if it was just carelessness, or maybe he just wasn't thinking, or maybe he thought they could all get there before it got dark. I don't know. All I know is they all did. And now you got this TV series that is running. I don't know where it's running. I don't know the name of it. I'm not going to watch it. The only reason I bring it up is because apparently they're really trashing Daryl Hannah in this whole thing, because Daryl Hannah, after she was done with Jackson Brown, she moved on to a couple of other guys and eventually JFK Jr. They split. JFK Jr. meets Carolyn Bessette. The rest is history. But again, I bring this up because of this weird story about Jackson Brown. And people who knew each of them and knew the situation said it's total fiction. That's not how they were around one another. And Daryl Hannah and JFK Jr. had a lot of affection for one another even after they split up. I don't know anything about that. The only thing I know about Jackson Brown and Daryl Hannah is they flew me to Chicago. This is probably, I want to say, maybe about 88. And Jackson Brown's record company got mad at Casey's people. And so they called us over at KSD and said, how would you like an exclusive one-on-one with Jackson Brown? And I said, sure, what do I got to do? They go, fly there. I go, can they do TV? And they're like, absolutely. So I flew to Chicago one day and went straight to the concert venue, and I sat there. I think we got there about 12:30 in the afternoon, and I waited, 1:30, 2:30. Finally, starts getting up towards 3 o'clock, and somebody says, they're doing the rehearsal now, doing the sound check. Do you want to shoot any of that? And I was like, sure, absolutely. So it was an outdoor arena, not unlike Riverport or Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, if you prefer. And we set up the camera about halfway back, and Jackson Brown, over the loudspeaker system, yells out to me, don't shoot anything until I tell you. And I'm just standing there like, Jesus, excuse the hell out of me. Okay, fine. Not here to cause trouble. I'm not going to do anything you don't want me to do. So we were just standing there, me and my camera, and just shooting the bull. And they start playing. They play a couple songs. And then Jackson Brown just stops in the middle of the song and yells out to me again over the loudspeaker system, okay, did you get everything you need? And it's like, we weren't shooting. He goes, you're kidding, right? And I said, no, you told us not to shoot until you said it was all right. Standing here in the Chicago suburbs arguing with Jackson Brown. So in a very perturbed fashion, he played Running on Empty and gave us the okay to go ahead and shoot, which we did. And I went back into the building and waited because we were going to do the one-on-one sit-down interview for both TV and radio. And so it was 4 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock. It was 5:30. And I'm looking at the clock because I know the last plane out of O'Hare for St. Louis is at 8 o'clock. And it's going to take some time to get there. And for God's sakes, I can't miss my own show tomorrow. And finally, about, 5:45, Jackson Brown comes sauntering in and sat down and actually gave me a really good interview. I found out later that all afternoon, he and Daryl Hannah had been fighting. And she's from the Chicago area, and she was at her parents'. And apparently they were talking on the phone back and forth from the parents' house out to the concert venue, and things weren't going very well. And I end up in the crossfire of this sort of nonsense. Martin Mull said it best. Hollywood, show business, it's like high school with money. Skip Weber is the reason we are doing this show. He's the big man with the big paycheck that goes to the big radio station, and I even get some of it. Skip and I did a little hanging out last week while I was in St. Louis. It was at the Columbia location. You know, it's interesting. We just picked up a new client here on the show, Window World, and they always say that if you want to improve the resale value of your home, either put in a new kitchen or, windows. So when it comes to somebody trading in a car, is there anything that people can do to sort of increase the value of their trade?
Not by thousands and thousands of dollars, but a clean car is so much more, it's all psychological, so much more presentable to the appraiser. And, we're going off not just books anymore, but also at an instant, we can look at what every type of vehicle is going through at auctions all over the country. And what's most relevant is what's going to auctions in our neck of the woods. So if there, it usually gives you a range, and if we drive it and it stinks and it's dirty that gets you psychologically starting on the lower end of that range, even though it may be mechanically better than something that's really clean.
What about tires?
Absolutely, yes. And once again, I'm not going to tell you that if you go spend $800 on tires, your appraisal's $800 better. It may not be exactly like that, but we have in our mind, my guys appraising definitely have in their mind, if we got to put we don't want to resell a vehicle from the pre-owned lot with bad tires.
All right, so here we are now in the month of March, and you guys just must be salivating because even though so much of what happens in the car business these days is done online, you still have people who want to come out, kick the tires, and sit in the car, feel how it feels. Tell people what's waiting for them at Weber Chevrolet.
Well, you're absolutely right about the feel of March. Even if you are doing all your shopping online, the winter months, December, January, and February, you might be shopping, but still mentally, most people are hunkered down. March is the spring, so a lot of people that are shopping online January and February are pointing toward March as to when they're going to buy, and that's huge. March is often our best month of the year. This March, all of my stores have a whole bunch of inventory coming from Chevrolet. For one reason or another, the shutdown that the plants have at the end of the year, it took longer for them to get the stuff shipped to us. Not necessarily built, but there's a lot of built vehicles that have been kind of in holding patterns, and we're going to get a lot of them. So our inventory is going to go through the roof. That's the amount of our selection. Not only that, it is Chevrolet Truck Month and Ford Truck Month. Doesn't mean a ton because we are always in a mood to sell trucks and always trying to, but there's extra advertising, so there's extra focus on it by the factory, and there's extra incentives. So the discounts and prices are just a hair better. So all that is pretty cool. Chevrolet came back with the best discounts on electric vehicles we've ever had. Even better than when they had that special tax rebate that got everybody buying last summer. This is the best deals that we've ever had on EVs. So there's a little bit of a pent-up demand because everybody kind of pulled the deals forward as that deal with the government was shutting down. But now we've been selling a trickle. I expect that we have a ton. Nobody's got as many Chevy electric vehicles as we do, period. We want to be in that market, and so we got them. So great way to save some money on that if you're inclined.
And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find you the rest of the month. We're into the NCAA basketball stuff. You're like the ghost of Jim Valvano or something. Give me 30 seconds on a couple of teams that you've really got your eyes on, especially maybe somebody, a sleeper, and you can make a recommendation.
So I think it's going to be fun to see what the SLU does. They've lost a couple now, but they went that long time, and they're good, and they've got some good experience. They got a transfer that came in that was at another mid-major, and I think they know how to win. So it'll be fun. I don't think they're going to go all the way, but it could be a lot of fun for them to win a couple rounds, especially if they let them play in St. Louis. But I think Illinois is the team to beat. It's no fun to predict Duke, Arizona, UConn, the top Michigan. It's no fun for me to predict the number one seed. Anybody can do that. So are they good? Those teams are very good. I'll tell you another team to be really wary of. This team has one of the best 4-game resumes in the business, and that is Texas Tech. They have beaten Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, and Duke. They've beaten all 4 of those teams this year, and I don't think anybody can say their best 4 wins are as good as that. Andy Williams was not talking about Christmas. He was talking about this when he sang, it's the most
wonderful time of the year. All right, 3 locations of Weber Chevrolet, Granite City, Columbia, Illinois, Olive and 270, and online at WeberChevrolet.com. Of course, the Ford dealership with all the service vehicles and delivery stuff and everything like that over on the Illinois side as well. The deals are waiting for you at Weber Chevrolet. Skip, have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, JC. Talk to you later.
It's JC's Sunday Showgram on News Talk STL.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the showgram.
I don't know about you, but I am so glad the Olympics are over. They were interrupting all of my favorite shows. All of my favorite shows are on late at night, and everybody was either preempted or took a couple of weeks off because they thought everybody was going to be watching the Olympics. I wasn't. I'm just glad to have things back the way they were. And wasn't that long ago, just a couple of years back, where the U-Man and I and the great Lori Mack, Carl, actually got into a very spirited discussion about the relative merit of watching the Olympics on TV.
A St. Louis area athlete will go for gold in Beijing later this week with the U.S. women's soccer team. Narings Hall graduate Lori Kalupny scored a goal in the team's semifinal match against Japan yesterday. Team USA beat Japan 4-2. That assures them of silver.
I got 4 days to go. And I'll be clean of the Olympics. I haven't seen 1 second of the Olympics.
Oh, it goes till Sunday.
Huh? It goes till Sunday.
Sunday's the closing ceremony.
5 days to go. Have not seen 1 second of it.
I don't want to have you turn on Channel 5 on Sunday and go, hey.
Here's what I've seen in the Olympics. Whatever they show on the news, whatever they show on the tabloid shows or, the entertainment shows or any of those things that I watch, or if I forget that the news isn't on at noon on Channel 5, like I tend to try to see on days when I'm home that early, which is not that often, but some days. Or when I go to MSNBC thinking I'm going to watch the news, and instead there's Olympic coverage there too. And I go, oh, that's right. Crap, it's Olympics. So other than that, I've seen nothing. And I plan on continuing that. As I was saying here yesterday, I wouldn't watch any of this stuff under any of the circumstances. If it was a Sunday afternoon, you called me and said, hey, JC, quick, there's a really good swimming match on. I'm going to watch that. I'm not going to watch track and field. I don't care about track and field. I watch girls volleyball. The girls are all 1.5 feet taller than me and have no boobs. What am I going to watch that for? I would never watch any of this stuff under any other circumstances. So why would I watch it now? Because NBC paid $3 trillion for it, and they're making a 2-week event out of it? That's a television event. That's just something they created. They manufactured it. And the announcers... And unbelievable! Oh, Jesus Christ! Look at him go! Everything is
overstated.
Everything is mildly overstated. Come on, I'm sorry.
They've been waiting 4 years to scream that.
Yeah. Well, it all is coming out, isn't it?
Funny, I had you pegged as a big skeet shooting fan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was that biathlon?
Would you watch skeet shooting under any other circumstances?
No. Unless I was at a picnic of some sort.
Yeah. And what are the dumb sports?
Hey, let's skeet shoot. Anything but this.
And what are the other the ones? Oh, there's somebody emailed me this the other day. Trampoline. Trampoline is an Olympic sport.
Yeah,
there's some weird stuff.
Trampoline is an Olympic sport. They're doing away with softball.
And baseball.
But trampolining is an Olympic act. Forget it. This is a joke.
I think they dumped golf already. Golf's not an Olympic sport anymore, is it?
It's not.
No.
Golf. Trampoline.
Hold on, let me put my pretzel out here. I'm smoking pretzels. When did they make the change from having the Olympics, both the summer and the Winter Olympics, in the same year? I remember being a kid, and it was just like every 4 years.
Every 4 years, Jim McKay would be out there.
I was more inclined to watch it when it was every 4 years. Yeah. Now it's like every 2 years.
I'll tell you when they figured out that they could charge. Well, first of all, when they were being charged $1 trillion to show it, they needed to make their money back, and so they started making it into these long TV events. And anybody remember back in the 80s the triple cast, the red, white, and blue triple cast thing? If you had cable, yeah, it's a money making thing. And now the whole story is about how much is Michael Phelps? Is that his name?
Yes.
How much money is he going to make in endorsements? They figure he's going to make $40 million in endorsements. By the way, isn't it interesting that Mark Spitz, who was handsome and tan, got much better treatment than Michael Phelps, who is ugly, white, and built like an orangutan. Do you ever see this guy's body? I mean, all the things that make him a great swimmer are also the same things that make him just grossly unattractive.
And his ears.
And his bad teeth and the whole thing. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
JC, you're missing some of the best wedgie spandex going right now in women's volleyball.
Yeah. That track runner that fell down last night, her underwear, her Well, it was kind of like underwear. It went right
I
up.
tell you, and
I got channels at my house that are a lot better than that. That do completely away with the underwear and the spandex and everything else. So trust me, if that's what you've resorted to for your sexual stimulation,
accident.
I got much better things that I can hook you up with.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And if you're wondering if a particular sport is invented for television, how come in the beach volleyball the guys are wearing shirts and full shorts, but the girls
are wearing butt floss?
Son of a gun.
Yeah. Well, again, if you stood next to one of those girls and she wasn't in that uniform, it's probably unlikely you'd give her a second look because the girls are actually sort of manly looking.
Like the gymnasts wear earrings to make themselves look like girls.
Yeah. And now they're accusing the Chinese of putting girls out there who are not even close to 16.
Yeah.
They're like closer to 6.
14.
14-year-old girls jumping around out there and,
Well, they're 4'2".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had one of these forensic people looking at the facial structure, and apparently you can look at the retinas of people, and your retinas develop at a different rate depending on your age.
And your chin.
And your chin development and everything like that. And this woman was looking at these pictures and saying there's no way that these girls are anywhere near 16 years old. They're out there cheating. But again, then that's the other thing, too, is tell me those swimsuits that they're wearing, tell me that's not cheating. It's like somebody said, this is the equivalent of steroids in professional sports, the way they're cheating with these swimsuits that basically are making them go faster and be more buoyant. Even the pool is jazzed so that there's less resistance from waves created by the swimmers, so that obviously if you're swimming in calm water, you're going to have less resistance against you. And the water's deeper, so that takes more of the water away and all this sort of stuff. So the whole thing becomes... And then, of course, you have professional athletes out there. You have NBA players. You have NBA players competing, and it's like, what? Just exactly what are you trying to sell me on? How many different levels can this whole thing be wrong?
We have the Williams sisters playing tennis.
Yeah. On how many levels does this have to be wrong before somebody stands there, looks at the TV, and cries BS?
Well, that's what Costas was saying last night. That's why they're getting rid of baseball, because they want professional players to play baseball. And since the MLB won't do it, they're getting rid of baseball.
Yeah. It's a crock. I'm sorry. If you're enjoying it, go ahead and enjoy it. But I'm sorry. I can only see what I see. And what I see is, I don't want to say it's corruption, but the whole thing has sort of been rigged for all the wrong reasons.
But I mean, every sport has advances in equipment and clothing and stuff. And if you got mad at all that, you'd never be able to watch any sporting event.
Sure. I mean, I agree with you on that, because if you look at the gloves and the mitts, the Major League Baseball players,
catcher pads so their knees don't give out as quickly and stuff.
Right, and all that sort of stuff. I totally agree with you. And now you've got batters who wear all this armor and everything, and then go up to the plate and then try to get hit in the shoulder where they have giant amounts of plastic and padding and stuff. I'm with you.
I would agree with you that the Olympics is not my bag, and haven't been since Nadia Comaneci or Olga Korbut when they got in the 70s, when they got the first 10.
Yeah.
But week and a half ago on a Friday, you were in Chicago and, going to the Cubs game and all. But the Cardinals played during the day, that Friday. So that, you come home after work, and normally I would turn on the Cardinal game, but there's nothing on. So I flip around. That opening ceremony was incredible, and it's not my cup of tea. But if you ever get a chance to watch that,
I saw some of it on the highlights.
I mean, your jaw will drop.
Well, all right, okay, but let me stop you right there. Okay, the little girl who sang the very emotional song, the Chinese government determined that the girl who actually sang it wasn't cute enough, so they put a cute Chinese girl up there, and she lip synced it. That finally came out this week.
I'm talking about 2,000 or 2,500 people in perfect sync.
Oh, sure. And let me just tell you that
you couldn't even tell it was people.
Well, yeah, but the Chinese government is really, really good at uniformity, if you know what I mean.
Well, I figure if they
same little bicycle, same little gray suit, everybody do everything all at the same time. Have a nice day.
We never lip sync anything over here in America.
It's like, we invented that at the Super Bowl. Don't be trying to steal that from us. No, I know what you mean. But again, imagine that. The little girl who actually sang the song was deemed by the Chinese government as not being cute enough. So they put a really cute Chinese girl up there and they said, all right, now you lip sync to this thing. At least when Whitney Houston lip syncs at the Super Bowl, it's at least her having sung it in a recording studio. It's still her. The Chinese are like, all right, put the cute one out there. Yeah. And they showed the girl who actually sang it, and
Crying.
she was
Oh, she's ugly.
She's not that bad. She's a little girl.
Well, they value women so much.
Well, that's
Right.
true. Yes,
Right.
yes. It's we're replacing you. And by the way, put these on your feet to make them smaller.
If they're allowed to exist at all.
And I know you can find corruption or you can find holes in the sanctity of any athletic event or any political / athletic event or anything for that matter. You can, if you hold it up to the light a certain way, you'll find all the flaws in it. I totally understand it. But there's an accumulation of flaws in the Olympics, as I see. It's just too much. It's all right, you're doing this here, you're doing this here, you're doing this here. Okay, I'll let you go with that. Oh, but you're doing this and 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 you're doing this, and finally you're like, okay, that's enough. I give up.
But when you think of the size of it, probably as far as the percentages, there's less corruption, less money involvement, I would think, in the Olympics than in other professional sports.
I don't know. That would be an interesting discussion to have. And it also, that takes into consideration only the things we know about the Olympics.
Or only the things we know about baseball or football or hockey.
The more we're finding out about those, the less we like too. So, no, I don't disagree. I'm just telling you that as far as this Olympics thing is concerned, if you enjoy it, you're having a good time watching it, you go right ahead. But I'll be watching Saved by the Bell.
The Olympics are just a couple weeks away. I'm getting excited. But I just read that there's still thousands of unsold tickets for the games in Sochi. Yeah, athletes are worried that there won't be anyone there to watch them. Then the curling team said, welcome to our world.
It's JC's Sunday Showgram on News Talk STL.
Radio? Who needs a radio?
Like what you're hearing? Don't forget JC's Wayback Machine every Saturday night from 6 until 9 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL and the free News Talk STL app.
I just saw this out of the corner of my eye. It was 1988 on yesterday's date, March 7th, 1988, that the St. Louis Blues acquired one Mr. Brett Hull.
You mentioned Mike Keenan, so I'm going to bring this up too. In retrospect, looking back at it now, with the benefit of the years and hindsight and all that sort of stuff, is there any way that could have had a different ending? Or was it once he stepped in here and he did all the things that make him Mike Keenan, was it just destined to come down in flames?
It was destined because that's just what that was his MO. He went to places and he ruled as with an iron fist, and he was a tyrant, and he tried to figure out who the best player on the team was when he first came in, pick on him, and get rid of him to show that he was the boss, and that's basically what he did with Brendan Shanahan.
Have you have any contact with Mike Keenan at all? Have you seen him like in the last 5 years anywhere?
No.
And if you did, what would there be a conversation?
No.
Okay.
Not whatsoever. I wouldn't. I wouldn't piss in his ear if his brain was on fire.
I wouldn't piss in his ear if his brain was on fire. Wow. Ted Drew's is open. I believe they opened March 1st. Here in the state of Florida, an estimated 90,000 people a day will arrive in the Sunshine State to run around half naked and all drunk. 90,000 a day? No wonder I can't find a friggin' parking space. Beat it. Had my first back operation on Friday's date back in 1996. I was scared to death. And they gave me one of those big Jerry's Kids neck braces. I had to wear that for 4 months, and then I had to go to a soft neck cast after that. And I'm telling you, when you took that big hard plastic neck brace off, because you had to clean yourself, and you could only take it off for a very, very short period of time. It's like, take it off, have somebody clean it, or you clean it yourself, and then get that neck brace back on. But when it was off, I swear to God, it felt like my head was going to roll right off onto the floor. On yesterday's date in 1998, the U-Man and I took our first trip to Jupiter, Florida for spring training. We have been going to Al Lang Field in St. Pete all those years. I mean, that dates all the way back to the 40s. And it was a lovely park as far as the fans were concerned, because you're right on the water and you had, seagulls and birds and stuff like that flying around, sometimes just standing around in the outfield. It was a really quaint, nice little ballpark with real great sight lines. And you had Tommy, the vendor, the singing vendor who would run around and sing songs and then throw a hot dog in your general direction. And all that was great. The only problem was it wasn't any good for the team because there's basically only one field. And as I think about it now, it was incredibly primitive. It was like going back to the Stone Age. The guys had to get in a car and drive about 15, 20 minutes to use batting cages. And the place just completely outlived its usefulness and effectiveness. And so they went from the very affordable St. Petersburg area where you could come down and really, you could bring your family down here and have a nice time. Then they went over to Jupiter, PGA land, and money, money, money. And I don't mean little bits of money. I'm talking about DeWitt type money. They had a house on the outer islands. By driving time would probably be about maybe 30, 40 minutes. Bill DeWitt Sr. would just come in and land a helicopter. The two places, Jupiter and St. Pete, could not be any more different. My old buddy Louis Anderson, we just really hit it off in the very first time we had him in the studio all the way back in 1984. He did 2 shows sold out at Westport on this Tuesday's date in 1989. One of the best promotions we ever did at any of the radio stations I worked at took place on Wednesday's date in 1985. They gave us 5 trips for 2 to Jamaica, and so we put a thing together called Jamaica Tape for the Morning Zoo. Jamaica Tape, get it? Like I said, just make some sort of audio tape, 95 seconds or shorter, and send us the cassette. We will have a panel of judges. We'll pick the best 5, and each of you will win a trip to Jamaica. And people said great stuff. I was digging the last few days. I even put it in the promo because I just assumed I would find it, but I couldn't find the tapes because we really had some great tapes. I'm going to look again this week, and if I find them, maybe I can use them next week. But people did some really, really creative stuff. On Wednesday's date back in 1987, I'm standing on top of the Channel 5 news van, holding on for dear life to Deanne Lane. We're in front of the Fox Theater broadcasting live, doing live shots on Channel 5, 6 o'clock news. Paul Simon was in town with Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and we were doing the live shot out there, and people just thought it would be funny if they started rocking the van while we were standing on top of it. And there's nothing really to hold on to up there. You got to be careful what you touch, because the big long transmitter thing was up there. We don't have to use those anymore in television, but back then we did. If you have the presence of mind this Thursday, give Jamie Allman a call here at the radio station. Wish him a happy birthday. I don't have his age written down here, just the birthday, but I believe he's turning 81. So wish him a happy birthday. Speaking of Deanne Lane, she had a lot to do in 1986 with Hands Across America. She'd only been in town a couple of years, and she called me up, and we had talked a couple of times, but I'd never met her. And she did a Hands Across America softball game, big fundraiser, and just you should bring the guys from the radio station. I'm going to get some celebrities, and we were all out there playing. We had a great time. Ron Karan was out there with some meat on the burner. We have a Friday the 13th coming up next week. And in 1990, we had one as well. And I was on my way to Baltimore. John Waters made a movie called Crybaby. And it was the very first movie that people really saw Johnny Depp in. And he looked like a normal kid back then. Now he looks like a transvestite fortune teller or something. I don't know, the stuff he wears. And also Tracy Lords was in that movie. And I got really, really excited because I'm like, Tracy Lords. If you know that name, you know why I would be excited. But she copped out because I was asking her about her porn days, and she tried to tell me that she was drunk and on drugs the entire time and didn't remember any of it, which is odd because I happen to remember every single scene I ever saw her in. I should save this for next week, but I might as well get it out of the way right now. It was it was on next Saturday's date back in 1986. And I woke up that morning not feeling great, but I came in and did the show. About 7:45 in the morning, I'm like, uh-oh. You know how you can just feel it coming? You can just feel it coming. And then you realize, no, this isn't just a little bit of nausea that will pass. This is going to be the Technicolor yawn. And I'm telling you, I heaved into the studio trash can. I think I filled the thing up halfway. Oh, man, was I sick. And then I just started turning white and almost lost consciousness. And all I could think of to do was just lay down on the studio floor. And John picked up the show and just says, I'll do the show until or unless you feel better. And I just laid on the floor. I still remember the program director came in and saw me laying on the floor and was like, oh, so you really are sick. I'm like, what, do you think I would make this up? Why would I make it up? Then you got to drive yourself home. That's almost even worse. I had a similar conversation with Dave Murray once, because when you're in TV, you are on camera. You don't have the luxury of being able to say, just excuse me for a minute. All right, have a great remainder of your weekend. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later.
27 people were injured this week after they were told to spring ahead and fall back.
Bye.